So, fellas, the NBA announced that the draft, they put the draft date out there, July 29th, with the lottery on June 22nd. And that got me thinking about who could go number one and what kind of futures bets we could do with that. So I want to do an early look at who might be the number one pick. And right now, Cade Cunningham is the overwhelming favorite at minus 400. Now, is it too early to have him as a number one pick right now from Okie State? Obviously, they're done. But what do you think, Murph? Minus 400, that's kind of, that's not a bet I would take, obviously, but is it too early to say Cade Cunningham is number one?
Yeah, I think it's too early. You got to wait until we go through, the draft preparation, the workouts. They look at these guys from head to toe. Get all the real measurements. I love Cade Cunningham. I do think he was the best freshman player in the country as far as college basketball is concerned. No question about it. But he's not a just overwhelming athlete. Like some of these other guys are. So I think that's going to come into question about his true ceiling in the league. So I think at minus 400, I think that's too big of a favorite for him. Jalen Suggs is plus 1,200. There's a chance that once they get a good look at him and they really, start doing their homework, they could think that he might be a better NBA player. Even same thing with Jalen Green at plus 500. So, yeah, I would definitely take somebody in the plus area at this point.
I love the fact that Suggs is plus 1,200 because if Gonzaga ends up winning this thing, and they're obviously in the Final Four, you know how that works. You win the Final Four, and let's say he's the most outstanding player of the tournament, you know what that means. That's going to boost him up all of a sudden. And so if you can jump in now at plus 1,200, definitely worth a flyer on Suggs. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, it's hard for me to see right now Cade Cunningham not going number one. It's even harder for me to see Jalen Suggs going over him. As much as I like Jalen Suggs, I probably like him just as much as I like Cade Cunningham at this point. Evan Mobley from USC is probably the guy I'm looking at right now. And Jarod, he's kind of your type of dude where he's switchable, he defends, he's long, athletic, has a touch. You know what I mean? Wasn't great from three this year, but could, stretch the floor a little bit. And you can see the pathway to him developing a three-point shot, has a handle as well. You could see him being a future double-double guy in the NBA and also a pretty good passer. Like, he has all of those things as well as the size that I could see him being the number one pick, even though the league is so guard-driven right now. And Cade Cunningham, he's being listed as a 6'8" point guard, which, on his face, we just saw LaMelo Ball, a 6'7" point guard who could play the 1, the 2, and the 3. He went number 3, and he was on his way to win Rookie of the Year and still might. But Evan Mobley is a guy that I might put some money on because I could see, people talking themselves and say, hey, this guy, long, athletic. Could he be Anthony Davis-ish? You know what I mean? And maybe we'll see what happens there. Yeah,
right now, guys, if you're looking at I want to make some money, I'm definitely, if we always talk about future bets. If you're looking at, you got $100 or $200 to spend on these futures, I would definitely put some money on Mobley and as well as Jalen Suggs. I would also look at Jalen Green, who played in the G League, because he had a pretty good G League stint, right? And what I like about that is the NBA dude's got a little bit extra intel, right? Because you don't have to go through that college buffer, right? He's already down there in their controlled environment. He's plus 500 right now. So if you're looking at some potential ways to just throw some money down for flyers because of where the odds are, plus 12 and plus 5, and Mobley was what, Brian?
His odds?
Yeah.
Plus, I want to say 600. Let me see. I got to look at that again. But yeah,
anything in those areas, I'm in. Definitely worth throwing a couple dollars.
Yeah,
down, right,
Cade Cunningham is so big of a favorite that anyone else is like a good bet right now because you're not going to get nothing by betting on Cade Cunningham at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Evan Mobley because size matters. He's a 7-footer. He's a today's age 7-footer who can do a lot of things, is only going to get a lot better. So his upside has got to be higher than these other guys. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if in the next, after the season, next couple of weeks after the season, all of a sudden they're saying that Mobley is the first pick.
Yeah, and so those odds might change, people, right? Because all we need to know is you have that one workout, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he dominated in the draft combine in Chicago, and then all of a sudden the odds change. So now is the time, folks. It's early, but jump in on those high odds because they'll likely start coming down once the news starts trickling out about who did what and where in the draft combine process. All right.